Amber, how are you?
Oh my gosh, you look so cool. I'm glad I put my earrings on.
No, I was going to apologise for how disheveled I look. Like I have done my hair this morning, but I'm looking at it going, oh my God, what has happened since 8 o'clock
No.
this morning? How does
Well, the same
that happen?
happened to me. And then I was just like 10 minutes ago, I was like, oh my God, I'm going on this podcast. I run upstairs,
I know, I was like, oh my
put
God.
on my jacket.
Yeah. The joys, the joys. How are you? Apart from it's just chaos, isn't it? It's just like fighting fires all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what it is. I'm good. I'm good. Had like 9 days of solo parenting my two little ones,
Yeah.
and my partner just got back last night, so it's quite nice.
So now you're like,
Yeah.
there you go. Off you go. I need a break. It's hard, isn't it? The juggle is real. Firstly,
Yeah.
thank you so, so much for doing this. Obviously, I spoke to Jasmine last week, the week before, and it was just brilliant. We ran way over. Hopefully we don't run way over on this one. But yeah, just brilliant. And what I'm trying to do is I don't just invite anybody and everybody on this. It's really quite those girls doing business their way, a little bit different. They look different, they sound different, but they're absolutely smashing business in their way. And I just want to spotlight all of that awesomeness. So I'm like, I need these two on it. They're just brilliant.
I love that. I love what you're like curating. I can see it and it's great. And I just love the whole brand. I mean, the name is amazing, the
Yeah,
unfiltered female.
thank you. That
Yeah.
means a lot.
I'm
Thank you
totally,
so
I'm
much.
totally like in it with you.
Thank you. Honestly, and me, the thing that annoys me, and it shouldn't, but it does. I think really grotesque, audacious ideas, like big. They're not little. Oh yeah, that'd be great. They're like huge. They're like, I've got this great concept for Nike. How do I get in front of Nicole, the VP president in Nike in Portland? How do I fly to Portland? Like all of these crazy things. Like when is she next in London? And it's just, but that's what sets you apart, I guess, isn't it? So
That is an absolute superpower, honestly. That's so fucking cool. Love
right,
it.
I've got loads to talk about. Obviously, there's no hard questions in this, Amber. This is all just spotlighting all of the great things that you're doing. So, but yeah, thank you so, so much. I'm so excited. So, for anybody that doesn't know Amber, I'm just going to do a very, very quick introduction. Um, Amber has built quite literally a 6-figure business from scratch. With, I'm going to caveat, with a baby on your hip, because I think that's really, really important. No safety net and absolutely no apology. Interestingly, you were a former teacher turned business coach, a mum of two, and the woman really behind what we'll talk about in a second, behind what I'd say one of the most talked about social posts in the online business world right now. And obviously we'll unpack all of that because it just brings me so much joy. Amber is super bold, real as anything, and really doesn't do watered down answers. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what it actually takes to back yourself, especially when the odds aren't in your favor. Why the old rules of corporate success were never written for women like us. And why being gutsy, really continuing to challenge those things we're told not to talk about, like power, confidence, money, is the only way for women in business to not only be seen, but to succeed in business, I think. So obviously, Amber J, welcome to the Unfiltered Females. Let's start. So I know I touched on before we get into what you're doing in business now, going right back, you started your career as a teacher. Is that right?
Yeah, I was a teacher for 12 years before I like left it all behind and started a business.
So tell me about what was the instigator? Were you happy doing teaching?
Well, for the first 10 years I was teaching, I wasn't teaching in the UK. I was teaching abroad,
Ah,
and it
okay.
was like English as a second language. I loved it. It allowed, like, I lived in Vietnam for 3 years. That's where I met my partner. Lived in Australia for a year and a half.
Living the
Lived
dream.
in the UAE because my parents were English teachers too. So I just in my 20s, I had the time of my life, like traveling around, teaching. I kind of was climbing the ladder there. I did, like, it's funny now to think that I did an MA in teaching English as a second language. I took it really seriously. And then I flew back to the UK to kind of settle down a bit when me and my partner were, I don't know, kind of ready to have kids, and we were thinking, all right, we'll settle down. Then immediately COVID happened. And so all of the English language schools were closed for the foreseeable future. We'd had work lined up, all got cancelled. And it just felt like the best, like it felt like what we should do to be
Mhm.
safe, secure, was
Sure.
to continue teaching, do a PGCE. And I decided I would do it in primary. He decided he'd do it in secondary. And within 2 years, I had like totally burnt out.
Really?
It was nothing like any teaching that I'd done before. It was so crazy, unsustainable. Obviously, at a time of like really, like it was during that
Mhm.
post-COVID time. So I think the children were particularly unsettled, but it was more than that. It was just like everything else. And it wasn't my zone of genius. Anyway, I got pregnant, realized that, when you get pregnant and it's like your life flashes before your
Oh,
eyes. I don't
yeah.
know. For me, I had that moment of like, I can't continue this. Like,
Right.
this is not my future. And this is
Mhm.
not what I want after, going on mat leave and then coming back. And this isn't what I want my
Yeah.
child to see me doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I got pregnant, I
That was the moment you were like, "We're gonna have to pivot. We're gonna have to
yeah.
change things up," which we'll talk about in a minute. But I think that's quite a brave thing to do because, especially as women, I think we're frightened to death of not only switching jobs. Like I could never switch jobs. I'm secure. I'm safe. It's giving me a salary. So not only to switch jobs, but you switched essentially completely different career paths. So what would be your advice for someone who's listening, going, I fucking hate my job. I really want to do something different. From what you've just said, and especially falling pregnant, even more responsibility, there is practical ways that you can actually make that switch without being too reckless at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think there is always a way. Like, you will always find a way to land on your feet.
Hmm.
The worst thing you can do, I think for me, it was I could just hear myself for basically the entirety of the 2 years that I was primary school teaching. I was saying to myself, this isn't for me. I don't want to do this. I'm not happy. This isn't what I want my life to look
Hmm.
like. And there's only so many times I say this to like my friends and my clients. There's only so many times you can hear yourself saying something
Yeah.
before you just have to act on it.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's stuck in a job that they are thinking like, I need to get out of this, but what the hell could
Yeah.
like a different thing look like? I just think you land on your feet. But if you don't take the risk, if you don't take the jump, I
Hmm.
think what's worse than anything, like the worst possible outcome would be that you stay in the same place that
Yeah.
you've been
Yeah.
complaining about for however long. Like, for me, that was just the worst possible outcome. I knew no matter what happened, like this big risk that I was taking to like pivot and change, I knew I'd land on my feet. I trusted that I would land on my feet.
Yeah.
I didn't know how long it would take,
Yeah. But
but
because
I knew
obviously
I'd be all right.
you fell pregnant and you were like, right, this is my opportunity now to switch and move into a different direction.
Mm.
What did that look like in the moment? Because you couldn't just like, right, I'm off, I'm going.
So, like, starting from when I got pregnant, decided I had to leave, I started like looking around, seeing what other people
Hmm.
were doing. I had a
Hmm.
couple of friends that were coaches.
Okay.
And I didn't really know that world at all whatsoever, to be honest. But I love psychology. I was really interested in I was thinking maybe become a therapist,
Yeah.
maybe do something like that.
Okay.
Um, I've always wanted to like help people and work directly with people. But then, yeah, my two friends, they don't know each other. They had coaching businesses and I just became obsessed with that. So I decided to start retraining as a coach while I was teaching. So I was like
Okay.
teaching all throughout the week, pregnant. At
Wow.
the weekends, I was doing coach training. Then it basically meant that by the time I had my baby, I was kind of like had a really clear-ish plan what I wanted to do, but I didn't actually know how to do the business side of things.
Mhm.
I just knew I wanted to be a coach. And then, so yeah, then I went on mat leave, had the most amazing, incredible mat leave. Like, I just love mat leave.
Isn't it great?
Mat leave is so
No
wonderful.
deadlines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And
one
obviously,
job
and
to
also because
focus
I've
on.
quit my job,
Yeah.
it felt like freedom, ultimate freedom, quitting a job that I felt so incredibly really burnt out and unhappy and
Yeah.
miserable and stuck in, to be like free of that and have this exciting plan ahead that I was going to become a coach. But then obviously, the mat leave pay ends after 9 months. And so I knew I needed to start my business. I think after 6 months, I was like, all right, I'm going to start my business.
Mhm.
But what does starting a business look like?
Exactly.
I just like started an Instagram account basically and
Okay.
started
Well, that's
posting.
starting.
Yeah,
That's
it's
starting.
true.
That's putting the post out there. Because really what I want to delve into is like, but how? How do you start? Create a web page, start an Instagram handle. and a page.
Yes.
That's it, is it?
Line up with HMRC. Like, if you're like, all right, I am self-employed now. It was stuff like that. And it was
Yeah.
like every single day just thinking, I remember every single day I was just thinking, what's one thing I can do? Like, obviously I've got like a baby, can't do very much. What's one thing I can do every single day that moves me a bit closer? And yeah, sometimes it was a post. Sometimes it was, I don't know, doing things that never ended up coming to fruition. Like,
Okay.
I decided to put on a local group called What the Hell Next? And it was about helping mums figure out what to do next.
Love that.
I booked a room and then, but I just didn't know how to market myself at the time. So I ended up canceling all of that. But it was,
It
it
was
was
all
all,
learnings.
yeah,
You were just, I think that's really important, Amber, is sometimes people procrastinate, they think too big, so they don't move.
mm,
So it's all about those small marginal changes. You setting up a little group in an initiative. It might not have worked, didn't hit off, but it's all learnings, isn't it? To go, okay, well, that didn't work and I wasn't really feeling it. But what it did do was it took me on this direction. I'm going to try this. So it's about experimentation, exploration of all these things. Don't be afraid of failure, I think, especially in those very, very early infancy days. Would you agree?
absolutely. Totally. In those infancy days, it is all about the messy action.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, yeah, like as you go on, your action becomes less and less and less messy and more
Well,
intentional. But when you're first starting out, you just have to be like, you just
yeah,
have to be gutsy. You just have to be like, I'm fucking doing this.
yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah,
don't really know how to do it well, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's the only way.
yeah.
That's the only way you learn how to do it.
Yeah. So you're just constantly refining all the time. Didn't
Mhm.
like that, didn't want to do that. And it's just not being afraid. It's just not being afraid of that at all. What did people around you say at that moment? Because obviously you're pregnant, got a new baby, not going back to teaching. What were people around you saying? Because I think, obviously were you couldn't do that or that's too unsafe. Or did you in that moment, was it your gut saying, this is the time? Obviously you mentioned before going, I can't listen to my inner voice anymore. I've got to make the jump. But in that moment, was it, I've got to go, I don't care what people tell me, what people say, I've got to go.
That was it. Like, I remember telling my dad, for example, that I didn't want to teach anymore, and he just thinking,
What
like,
are you doing?
yeah, he didn't think it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Your family and your friends, they love you, and so they don't want you to take any risks. So
Uh-huh.
they're always like, all the comments that come from them are like, "Oh, are you sure?"
Yeah.
And it's always like, this is for anyone that probably is wanting to career
Uh-huh.
change or anything, or even in business, your family are going to be like, "Well, you sure that's a good idea? Like, don't you think it would be better to do this?" Oh, they're thinking of all the reasons why it was not going to work out. Like, haven't you heard about this? More, my friend told me that they tried this and it didn't work. So be careful. Like, it's all the reasons why something shouldn't and isn't going to work. And I definitely had that from
Okay.
my family. I remember when I actually handed my notice in and spoke to like my head teacher, and I had this from so many different teachers in the department, being like, "Are you sure you actually want to quit? Like, you don't
Yeah.
like if you don't have to quit because then you can come back." And I was just like, "No, I want to quit." And the amount of
Oh,
eye rolls that I had from when, especially when at the
yeah.
time, I was going to be business coaching, I just knew I was
Mhm.
going to coach, and people were thinking like life coach. Like the amount of eye rolls I had of people thinking that I was just like doing this stupid, silly thing.
How did
Yeah,
you deal with that? Did it wobble you? Because that would, I'd consider myself to be quite out there and let's try it and experiment and fail and try again. But with people doing that, I'd be like, oh, are they right? Are they right? Am I mad? Am I going crazy? Am I being reckless?
think well, with the school, with the people that were like eye rolling me at school, the head teacher eye rolling me, I just remember thinking, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like, it's just, it was like,
Was fuel.
you don't even know who I
Yeah.
am. Because I definitely feel like when I was working at that school, I wasn't my full self, and I wasn't like I was,
Hmm.
I was a teacher, but they had no idea like what I was capable of, and I definitely felt that like fire inside of me.
Hmm.
But with my family, it's not like I don't, it's not like because I mean I still have this.
Hmm.
I necessarily listen or believe them when they say it, but it does kind of get to me a little bit, like they
Yeah.
don't fully understand what I do, or they don't like, they're not always seeing what
Hmm.
I'm doing for what, like, why are you doing? You always have to like really demand time for yourself
Okay.
and for your business, especially to begin with. You're not bringing in money. Why do
Yeah.
you need however many hours to work on your business.
Yeah. Gotta grind it out. 'Cause it was funny, I had said John, and she was talking about the early days, before she scaled and grew and exited, et cetera, and, you know, she was saying entrepreneurship and the founder life is not for everybody. It isn't. Like, it's very lonely. You have to have resilience. You have to have motivation. There's certain characteristics and traits that to be successful on whatever you define, obviously, you know, your own success metrics are your own. But what you're saying is there's certain traits that is very lonely. You have to have resilience. You have to have that energy to get up and go. You haven't got a boss saying, I need that proposal pitch deck by 3 o'clock today. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
The thing is, like, but you have to have that driver, and what that
Yeah,
driver was for me at the time. Like now, it's something different, but at the time, it was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to not go back to teaching.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that teaching is all I knew, and I'm not going back.
yeah,
And so this is going to work,
yeah.
and just like
I
I'm
think
doing.
that's really a lovely I've got an episode coming up in a couple of weeks around the motivation for starting your own business, because there's still this generic perception that people start their own business to scale, go international, six figures. And it's
Mhm.
like, actually, some people just start their own business to get away from the life that they're currently doing now. And whatever that looks like, it doesn't matter. But if it's nothing like what I've got now, that's a win. Or to have a better lifestyle, that's enough to start their own business. And I think that's a really interesting topic, and trying just to reduce all of them stigmas that I've no intentions of going global and scaling for 30 million quid. It's for different reasons, you know?
I totally agree with that. And I mean, like over time, your goals or your dreams might become bigger and your
Of
reasons
course.
change. But definitely to begin with, it's just like you want a better life for yourself.
Yeah.
Call it selfish. You might not have a deep mission, like, wanting to help the world. You just want a better life for yourself, and you
Yeah.
want to make some money for yourself or your family. And
Yeah.
like, I just knew I wanted more from my life. And so it started from that.
No one else is going to do it for you, Amber, either. They say,
Yeah.
you know, if you want change, unfortunately, it lands with you. You have to make that first step and just do that first step and go and go and go thereafter. No one's going to hand it to you on a silver plate and go, there you go. That's what you need to do.
You got to make it happen.
You got
Like,
to
you got
make
to
it
make the
happen.
life that you want happen.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
and
so,
you can. You can.
yeah.
People often call me, Amber, a little bit delusional, like, no way you're going to send a proposal tonight. No, I am. I am. I'm going to find a reason, a way to get that proposal tonight. Because why? Why would I? And I'll try and I'll try and I'll try again. Because nothing is impossible in some form. If you want to do something, you can make it happen. I'm a really strong believer in that.
I am too. I love that you said that so much. That's so cool.
No, like, people walk around like, I could never do that. Why? They're just people. They're just
Yeah.
people like you. And the worst thing they can say is, not right now, but you're on the radar. Like, God,
Mhm.
she was a bit bold and brave coming in with that. Like, never heard of her before. Where's she from? Manchester. Like, what? Like, wow. And actually, this idea, this concept's absolutely bloody brilliant. Yeah, right. And, you know, I just think that's a spirit that I've been gifted with. I've had that all my life, and I'm just going to lean more into that, you know. And I just think, yeah, it's people need more of that, especially nowadays where we're living in this sea of sameness. And oh, you couldn't say that, and you couldn't possibly go straight to that vice president. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. And you will be remembered. You'll be remembered so much more because you were that bold, brave,
Yeah,
like person. People are like, oh my God, the audacity of her.
yeah,
That is like, I love that. And I
yeah.
feel like people love that, especially like businesses that's so
I
bored,
think
so
so.
often boring and corporate. Are
I
going to
think
love
so. They
a
love the
woman with a
initiative. It
spirit.
shows
Yeah.
initiative. Like, you know, a vice president, it's like, you know, you'd go through the process of going to the marketing team, or you go through procurement, and because you're a vendor, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, no, no. Show initiative, find a way. When she next in London for the South by Southwest event, right, I'm gonna strategically go there and go, hi Nicole, hi, how's Doug the dog? Da 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 da. And be like, can I just borrow you for 5 minutes? You know? And she'll be like, this is fucking amazing. But why people don't do that? Why do you think people don't do that? Especially women. They're a bit hesitant. I couldn't do that. There's a process to follow. why have we got into this and just not thinking out the box? I don't know.
I guess it's like we're so conditioned to follow the
Oh,
rules. We're
yeah.
so conditioned to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And I think it's so true. Like what you're describing there is you're like finding the door for yourself. You're not
Yeah.
waiting around for a door to open, you're finding a
Yes.
door. Which is actually exactly what I did with Jasmine. We put on Bold, Brave and Weird. I was like, I want to be a speaker and I'm just going to put on an event so I can speak and I
Yes.
can create a thing myself. But I
And you
think
had
we
a
are,
sold out event
yeah,
as a result.
yeah.
Great. You created it yourself. If you want something and it doesn't exist, find a way to create it yourself. You know, if you don't know how to do that, soundboard, use somebody. I just think people just, yeah, we just need that fire. And just coming back before, because there's so much I want to talk about. But coming back about, life and business decisions, do you think in those really important life and business decisions, obviously your handle is now the Gutsy CEO. Do you think those really critical moments and decisions that we make should be done by your head or your heart, or in your instance, your gut? Like if you were saying that voice constantly going, I'm better than this, I wasn't supposed to do this, I'm destined for better. What should you eventually go with?
It's always the gut.
It's always the gut.
It's always the gut, because your head has so many different parts. The head is gonna be,
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
have, like, the dickhead part that's just being mean to you and telling you all the reasons you couldn't,
Yeah.
or it's got your mum and your dad in the
Yeah.
background, like, their voices. It's really hard to, like, discern what you actually think you should do, but you always know in your body. I always feel like everything I've ever acted on, the time when I decided, right, that's it, I'm leaving teaching, the time when I even decided to like become the gutsy CEO, it's because like I've had this like building thing, and it's like
Mhm.
something inside of me that's like growing,
Yeah.
and it's like it starts screaming so loud that I can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Or the other way is like I feel there's something that's like an anxiety or a something's not right, something's not aligned, and that's inside. And
Yeah.
I've never been someone. It
Yeah.
seems you're the same. Like, never been someone that can just let that sit
Yeah.
without doing something about it.
Because sometimes might go, well, just going with your gut or going with your heart. It's a bit reckless. You're not thought it through. And it's like, no, but you can. You can lead with your gut and your heart, but you can be sensible with that as well. You can have some practicalities in place, like you very much did. You can do something between 5 and 9 after the day job that keeps the lights on. How are we using our night? So we're not going out for brunches. I can't remember the last time I went out for a brunch on a Saturday afternoon. I'm busy writing decks, going, what brand can I partner with now? It's using your time to do those things, network, do the Instagram, do the website, go to that event. It's that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think actually when you have like, for example, I've only ever known business with 2 babies, like, with children. First of all, with my first, now in my second. And I actually think I've spoken to clients about this where they've said like, "How have you found the time to do all this stuff?"
Mhm.
I think it's because your time is limited.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't have the luxury of being able to work all day, and I would love to because I love working.
Um,
I'm obsessed with what I do. I'd love to have more time to do it. But you just have to focus, and you have to
mhm.
like laser focus in on what's the thing that's going to open the door? Like
Yeah.
what's the outside of the box thing? What's the gutsy thing that's going to be different to what everyone else is doing that's going to make me stand out more? And that is, I think, the difference. That's maybe why like women,
Yeah.
especially like mums or whatever, we have this superpower of being able to like
Yes.
really go gung ho on
Yeah.
what needs to get done,
Yeah,
you know?
it's funny because Sedge did touch on that, Amber, as well. She was like, working mothers are the most productive, are the most efficient, are the most profitable.
Mm.
Time is money. Like, and we don't want to sacrifice our time with our kids. Sometimes we have to. That's the realism. I can't do every school run. I don't need to do every school run to be mum of the year. It's just really being really considerate with your time. So you touched on then in terms of your approach about visibility and bravery and bold. Talk about where you are now in terms of, would you consider yourself still a business coach? Because obviously we'll just touch about what you're doing now. and all of that great stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, so I mean, I started out very much like coaching, which is a lot more to do with it's more similar to counseling, really, and
Okay.
really supporting people by asking questions, and everyone has the right answer inside of them. But I think, and that's an amazing thing. Like I definitely utilize that. I definitely use that still with my clients, but now I'm more of a mentor, so I'm
Okay.
more of a teacher. And I teach people how to build a business, how
Yeah.
to scale a business, how to market themselves online, how to like write content that people actually give a shit about, how to
Yeah.
grow an audience, how to sell. Like that's what I do, and I do it with the I think with the fact that I'm a coach as well,
Mhm.
an accredited coach. It means that I'm able to like teach people in a way that also supports them with their mindset and their confidence, and like bringing they're able to kind of choose their own way so that they can feel like this is their business, that they're steering the ship
Yeah.
rather than me just like
Yeah, this is a template, off the shelf template, that this is how you scale to six figures. And it's like, no, it's
Mhm.
very customized. It's because obviously you've got gutsy mastermind that you've got
Yeah.
at the moment. And what I really love, and what I love about you and Jasmine, is you're very confident around the impact and the outcome that you guys do. So I know that you use lines, especially when talking and referencing the gutsy mastermind. You say all things like, scale your business with guts, the 100K blueprint. It's not fluffy or it's not lofty in any way. It's really tangible. Like, wow, I want to know more about that. So, can you just talk about the Gutsy Mastermind framework or program that you've got and what it does?
Yeah, Gutsy Mastermind is like my favorite program. It's my signature offer essentially.
Yeah.
It's like 6 months or a year. It's become evergreen, which basically means
Mhm.
it's ongoing now. And it's supporting women, female founders to grow their businesses. They're usually in that phase where they've already got started, but they're in this kind of messy middle phase where they just need to like level up
Yeah.
everything they're doing so they can get the K. That's kind of where it's positioned. But what it is, I follow my gutsy method. So the gutsy method always starts with the gut check. It's like an acronym, GUTSY.
Love it.
G is the gut check. So it always starts with how are you feeling about your business energetically, strategically, auditing it all, what's working. And we just kind of like pull it apart. I feel like that's the most exciting part.
Yeah.
And so and it's funny because it's like the first stage and it's not the sexiest, but it's often the thing that gets the biggest results when people actually take the time to gut check their business. And it's what I do at every stage. Like I do it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And then it's about upgrading their brand. So the U is like upgrade your brand DNA, like build out a methodology, build out
Mhm.
your brand identity, like mine, the gutsy CEO. And I've like let that filter across everything in my business. Really believe in the identity first approach. Like, who are you and what do you have to say? And like, what's the thing?
Yeah.
Like, what's the mission that the impact that you want to have?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think and like what's your like playful identity? What's your powerful identity? How can we make all that come across in your strategy? And so that's kind of where we start with the upgrade side of things. And then I teach them messaging and content, but my version is truth teller messaging, which is about like the unfiltered female. It's about being
Yeah.
radically honest
Yeah.
with yourself, about yourself, to your clients and about them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love
And
that.
then we work
I
on
love
the
it.
strategy. And the final one is the gutsy CEO. So it's all about basically them becoming like a gutsy CEO.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
love how it's like very much around the person and the humanness. Because I just think corporate, it's just become a bit faceless, a bit grey, a bit samey. So I just think now more than ever, if we can lean into that USP, what makes them special? It's the human. After all, business is I'm in brand and comms, etc. And I hate the term B2B and B2C. It's always P2P for me. It doesn't matter. You are
Mhm.
always dealing with a person. And can you do business with that person? Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're all right. They're not a dick. Brilliant. I'm going to go with that person over someone who's got a massive CV and credentials and all of this fancy stuff, but they're a bit of a knob. I'm not gonna go over there. I'm gonna go into this because she's like loads of energy, proactive, all of that good stuff. So I love all of that. Obviously, without revealing any clients or Can you demonstrate the Gutsy method and the Gutsy mastermind, what it looks like in practice, or some of the impacts that you've seen? It could be big, it could be small changes, it could be big changes, but just to sort of give some examples, really.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my clients, when we first started, she was a local nutrition and weight loss coach. So she was like supporting people locally. She called herself Local Lucy. She was really, really undercharging. Like her one-to-ones were, I don't know, like £100 a month or something for
Right.
one-to-one.
It is.
And when she came to me, she just knew that she hadn't quite like figured it out. She hadn't really like figured out the
Yeah.
online space. It was very local and, like done well to get to where she was. She'd had sold out groups and things like that,
Hmm.
but at such low prices. And so we did the gut check. Basically, she realized that her whole brand at the moment was just blending into everyone else. It was the same as everyone else and it wasn't her. And she became, I mean, I can like, she then became neurospice to nutrition. She realized that actually it's her neurodiversity is what she really, really gives a shit about. And that's who she wants to help. And
Great.
that's like her superpower. And she
Yeah.
hadn't even publicly announced that. There were people in her community that didn't even know. So it was very, very gutsy move on her part.
Love that.
But she just knew, like once we'd really like got into the weeds of it, she knew that that was
That
where
was
she
it.
needed to go.
Yeah.
So we built out her whole business ecosystem around that. And I mean, in the space of a few months, she gained like 10,000
She's
followers.
quite
I
crazy.
know, I know. She's got
You
like
can
12.
totally see, can't you? But for any business owner to do that exercise, because they're so in the weeds and this is how it's always done, and this is what the market looks like, this is what everyone else is doing, this is the standard way of doing it. It's hard to have that objectivity, isn't it? So you coming in, doing the gut check and going, right, tell me everything. Tell me everything about the business. Tell me about you. Tell me a little about you. It's that light bulb. I'm going, there's something there. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what's going to stand you out and what people are going to relate and resonate with.
I know. And I feel like I see it straight away.
Yeah, you get the sixth
I'm just like,
sense.
oh my God, you just said the thing. I know
That's
exactly what
it.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's what we need to lean in. And obviously when you is with any strategic piece of work, obviously you do that consultancy work going, my recommendation is that we need to lean into this neurodiverse space because of this. It becomes inclusive. Nobody else is owning it, all of that. In general, do you get clients going, yeah, or do you get clients going, no, I'm not happy with that, or
Yeah, because I always mix it in with coach. So I wouldn't call myself necessarily like a consultant. I don't think I would say, well, I would actually. I would say what I would do is I would lead them towards it.
yeah,
From the questions I was
yeah,
asking and the things that I was saying, I'd basically lead them to say like, yeah, I know what it is.
yeah,
Like I have to do that, don't I? And then I'd be like,
yeah.
yes, yes.
See that?
And or sometimes it takes, I've had another client in Gutsy actually. It was the same. We had our call. She was really adamant that she wanted to stay quite general
Mhm.
with her niche. And I remember just being like, I know what it is. And so I think I left the call being like, I really just want you to consider this. Like, just consider it, mull it over, see what you think, because I think it would be a really good move for you. And it took a couple of weeks of me kind of just
Yeah.
asking her, like, what are the blocks around this? Like, what?
Uh-huh.
Because I just knew it was her entryway.
Yeah.
And then she got there in the end, and again she like changed. She became like a chronic illness specialist rather than a kind of resilience
Mhm.
coach.
Mhm.
And immediately again her business is blown up now. She's essentially fully booked. She's launched a group program. It's really incredible, and I think it all comes from that alignment, like finding something that is you,
Yeah.
and like you completely embody it and you're excited to get behind it. And
Yeah.
that's quite brave as well, because say like, I'm owning this space,
Mhm.
I'm like claiming this lane. It's not just that I have this niche, but
Yeah.
I'm going to claim this
Yeah.
lane
Yeah.
inside my niche, and I'm going to call myself an expert, an industry leader, because I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
100%.
suddenly, like your community will feel it.
Yeah. And it's about just having the bravery and the guts to do things differently. Like now more than ever, we don't need to follow the traditional corporate playbook. That's only meant for a certain criteria of human. white
Mm.
men that are childless. Now more than ever, there's loads of, resources at our disposal to go, just go for it. Like, do it your way, disrupt, ruffle feathers, and do it your way. I had Chrissy on, and she's disrupting the yoga market. Really interesting story there. Yoga typically is very highbrow, middle class, got the matching twin set, the matching Stanley Cup. And she's like, bollocks to that. She's like, I'm a 6 foot Geordie. I turn up, can't do the yoga pose properly. But she's on about, it's not about the class, it's about the community. People go to a yoga class, yes, to stretch and to do that. But ultimately, they go to chat to the girl next to them. And she's like, we go for a pint and we go for some Walker's Crisps afterwards. And it's all a bit messy. And I was like, and she's like, I do deals in my Adidas tracksuit and I'm doing it my way. And she's just blowing up that space. And it's like, but it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And it's just so incredible to see. And that's why I'm doing this conversation series, because I just love it. And hopefully women that are listening, Amber, go, I'm just going to give that a go, you know? And I just think but saying that, it's for a lot of women though, and to be realistic, I think being visible and being bold and being gutsy, a lot of women feel a little bit vulnerable with that, and the idea of selling makes them feel sick in the mouth. How do you rewire that for them? Because that's a lot of women, I suspect.
I think it's most women until
Yeah,
it has been rewired.
yeah,
I mean, anyone who's got a business, I think you just have to it's a process of realizing, like, your business isn't gonna work unless you sell.
yeah,
It's your job. If you have a business, your job is to sell, for
yeah.
one. That's, like, the first thing. You can't do your business without selling.
Hmm.
Um And the second thing is, all of my clients, I would say women are just insane and incredible. And whether you have a service based business or a product based business, like whatever it is you do, you're probably doing good in the world.
Yeah,
Like, it's probably something that is helping people and it's good and it's making people's day or it's changing
yeah,
lives. And I think, we're not fucking
yeah,
we are not these, like, what's the word? Corporate bros making millions of pounds and then, like,
mm,
lobbying for like
yeah,
racist, but we are doing good in the world. And I think it's knowing that if you actually want to make the impact, if you want to do good in the world, first of all, you need to make money.
yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to have any impact at all. And secondly, even if it's not about wanting to do good in the world, if you just want a better life for yourself,
Hmm.
you need to make money.
Yeah,
And it's like you have to sell.
yeah. And as
And
part,
also, shifting the
yeah,
perspective, people don't hate it.
no,
If you're helping people and they, like, my clients, they'll run masterclasses, or they're coaches, they're supporting people to change their lives for the better. They want to know how they can work with you. Like,
yeah,
they want to
yeah.
know, so tell them.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's that, even just think of a new word than selling, because selling gives people shudders. Like, like your example with 100 quid, that'll do for everything. And it's like, no, because it's about understanding value and, and it's people want this. And I think there's that buzz. Jasmine gave a lovely example when she did a lot of free video work in her early days. She wanted, she didn't have resource. She was like, what way can I get in front of my potential clients? She did free work, and then she got a first sale for like 140 quid. And she's like, people want this. People want this. And it's just flexing that muscle a little bit, isn't it? Get going. Because as you say, you can't have a business without money. Unfortunately, you just can't. You need cash. You need to be profitable. And then you can do the whole purpose, feel good stuff
Yeah.
later.
And also, can we? I just think for one second, like, women have been taught to make out like they don't really care too much about money, and that like, we are. All right, I was a teacher. My whole family are teachers, and teachers are basically taught to martyr themselves for the children. To do it for the children. I've heard the amount of times I've heard people say about therapists that are charging a lot of money. I thought, like, surely they don't want to help. Like,
Yeah,
they're charging too much. Clearly, they don't care about their clients. They're just doing it for the money. No, it's actually okay as women
yeah,
to help and want to make a lot of money
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And to just own that, hey,
Great.
I'm fucking ambitious.
Yeah,
I want to make £1,000,000 at
yeah.
least.
Great.
I want to be rich.
And that and again, this is where stereotypes come in, Amber, because if a man were to say, I want to earn £1 million by December or end of year. Look how ambitious, look how bold, look how he's going after it. A woman, God, that's a bit confident, isn't it? She just needs to come down off a peg or two. It's like what? And I think women like you and, the more women I have on the series that are just demonstrating that will hopefully eradicate some of those really outdated stereotypes, I think. I really want to get on to Stephen Bartlett because this is just brings me so much joy. But it talks about, again, the impact of being gutsy, following what you believe in. So obviously you did, so to put it in context for anyone that doesn't know the Stephen Bartlett moment, to put it simply, you did a post earlier this year that blew up. And you did a very honest, candid post back in January that said, Stephen Bartlett doesn't white bottoms to a Spice Girls track, which is just brilliant and genius. But it wasn't to be controversial. It wasn't, I read the post and I was like, yeah, I feel seen. Like, she's totally right. Women are expected to, women are doing incredible things, but unlike Stephen Bartlett, they haven't got a massive team. They've got no kids, got these huge safety nets, while I'm here, 2 kids, doing all of this stuff. And it just blew up, didn't it?
It is crazy. I like kind of have repurposed it again more recently, but just me like saying the same thing but face to camera, and it's blown up again and like gone
Really?
viral again. It's a message that clearly
Yeah.
needed to be said. And the amount of men usually misunderstood it,
Yeah.
and have like trolled it and really hate that post is interesting. But the amount of women in
Yeah.
particular that have just said like, thank you for saying this. I feel seen. My God, like I
Yeah.
cried. This is, and especially the first one, it's actually just quite funny. Like it's funny, and also it's like an important message at the
Yeah.
same time.
What instigated the post for you to do it it was January, wasn't it, this year?
Yeah, yeah, the end of
What made you do
January.
it? What was the
I was actually at Jasmine's house,
Yeah.
and we were both just talking. I mean, at the time, I was playing around with trial reels. So, if anyone who doesn't know, trial reels is a feature on Instagram where you basically have the opportunity to post content that only gets seen to new followers. So it helps you grow, basically.
Yeah.
I was playing around with that. And so every day I was just posting, a few times a day, just trying things out. And it wasn't really having much luck, to be honest. And then I was at Jasmine's house and we were just talking about, I think she'd had to go and pick up her child for like the umpteenth time that week or that month because her nursery had sent them home because she'd had like
Standard.
a mild temperature.
Yeah.
But we all know how that is.
Yeah. Nursery, it's like, "Not now."
And then
It's
you can't work.
uncomfortable.
And
It's
I we were just
off.
having that conversation of like, oh my gosh, it is like there are so many the Stephen Bartletts of this world, the Alex Hormozis of this world, all of these really, really most platformed entrepreneurs that we see all the time and that we're learning from, and that you
Mm.
know that we're reading, they've got best-selling books and best-selling business podcasts. None of them have to pick up their child for the 3rd time that week because their child has a mild temperature, and then all of their work gets. And so we'd been having that conversation, and it was kind of just like, a bit of a rant to one
Mhm.
another. And then I remember going home and I had, the same thing. I just had so much work that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was doing the thing that most parent founders do. I was trying to like message back to some of my clients after picking up my daughter, my toddler from nursery. And every single time I tried to send a message, she was just shouting at me from the toilet, being like, Mummy, can you wipe my bottom? And she always knows when I'm trying to do
They
work. She
do it.
hates
They
it.
know. They know.
She purposefully was doing that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, stop asking me to wipe your bottom, please. So it came from a combination of those two things. And then just that evening, I was doing what I was doing, like playing around with trial reels.
Mhm.
And I just posted like Stephen Bartlett doesn't wipe bottoms, and had that a fun idea of like doing it as though it was a letter to him, like
Mm.
Stephen Bartlett, babe, you don't wipe bottoms, you don't know what it feels like to
Yeah.
do this and this. And
Yeah.
I was basically just recounting my
Yeah.
experiences. And yeah, it was like overnight. I woke up the next day and it was like hundreds of followers, and that just didn't stop. Like every day it was like hundreds of followers, hundreds of followers, hundreds of followers,
Yeah.
hundreds of messages.
Did
Really,
he see it, do you know?
I'm sure he did, man. I
Because
mean,
his
like,
friend Davina did.
I honestly, because Davina McCall sent me a message. Davina McCall sent me a message telling me it was a DM telling me that I'd spelt Stephen wrong.
Yeah. How dare you spell his name with a P and not a V?
I didn't want to embarrass you, so I thought I'd send you a private message, which was so funny. I didn't even see Davina's message for 3 weeks because I had so many comments. Like in
Yes,
my
Davina.
caption, it said like comment bottom if you were ready for strategies like
Yeah,
that haven't been written
nice.
by childless men or whatever. And I
Yeah.
was getting people commenting bottoms, but also DMing me bottoms. And it was just like bottoms, 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 bottoms.
Oh, that's
And
a
then
tactic right there, isn't it?
and then I was like, all right, I was trying to get through all of these
Yeah.
DMs that I've had, and it was just it was overwhelming. It was taking me so long, and then literally about 2.5 weeks later, I made my way through to a DM by Davina McCall, and it had the blue tick. I was like, surely this isn't
It's
real,
not her.
but it had the blue tick, and it was her,
Yeah.
and it was just madness, really. Yeah.
Hilarious. Hilarious. But I just
So
think
I think Stephen saw it because I
I do.
reckon maybe she was like going to his rescue. You know?
Yeah, I know. I don't even think it's that controversial. It's a real thing, like, but it's obviously polarized opinions. But coming back to, again, from that one instance and a piece of content that you put out, you've then learned from that going, hold on, this is a whole area of an area where I can support women who are working mothers who, is there something here? So something like that could instigate an idea or move you in a different direction, or comes back to that experimentation, exploration that we talked about before. Really conscious of time. Very, very quickly on the subject of motherhood and ambition, there is this, whether we like it or not, this invisible weight of expectation that women carry that men don't, which you referenced before. There is, unfortunately, there is that weight of expectation on us. You yourself, Amber, have 2 babies, but a growing, successful business. As a business owner, what compromises or sacrifices do you make to be a good mum and a good business owner? Because there is some. I mean, this conversation series is not about rainbows and unicorns and it's just brilliant and I'm winning here and I'm winning here. It's like there has to be some, unfortunately.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm constantly trying to figure out a balance between
Okay.
trying to be present. Want to be present with my children so much when I pick them up from, childcare at 4. I really want to be present, but often I find myself like racing against time because I didn't get everything I wanted to get
Mhm.
done in that time. And, especially when I like went viral and it's happening again, there's this dopamine fix of like, I
Yeah.
want to check my phone.
Yeah.
So I have definitely battled, phone addiction. Is I'm late diagnosed ADHD as well. So things like screen addiction is something that I've actually had all my life and I've had to be really careful with. So when you go viral, that can kind of get quite
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think it's the feeling. Sometimes I genuinely do feel like I'm going a million miles a minute because I'm trying to run and scale a business, and I'm also trying to do everything that is involved in
Yeah.
motherhood. And I only work 4 days a week, which is what I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
That was the dream. I was like, oh, I just want to work 4 days a week, but I actually love my business so much. Probably I would rather now.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
to work 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So is always that kind of sometimes things just feel a little bit like they're going too fast.
Okay.
My brain feels like
Yeah.
it's going too fast. I'm trying to get everything done all at once. And I have to sometimes like that eats into, when my kids go to bed, I do want to be present with my partner, but I also want to do my work.
I know. I'm the same.
You know, I
Yeah.
really want to do the
Yeah.
pitch. I really want to write some content. I really want to do, and then I'm also like, wait a minute, now is also time to be like connect
Yeah.
with my partner.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's those kind of things I think that I have to juggle and I have to balance and
So, and I think instead of treating balance as a destination, maybe do we just, or something that we're striving for, something that's over here? Is it not just this daily negotiation all the time? Like what's in front of us that day? Right, I can do school drop off, but I can't do pick up, and that's okay because I'm going to sort that pitch deck at 3 o'clock, and that's okay. I think it's just a regular check in, isn't it? Just to ensure, because unlike Stephen Bartlett, we've got shit to sort elsewhere. So
yeah, I do think it's regular. I think
yeah.
you hit the nail on the head. Like it's always about. I don't think balance is just this. once you found, like, I don't think successful entrepreneurs just find balance and then they just
Yeah,
keep it. And that's just like that. It's always a matter of like, okay, I can feel things getting a little bit out of control here. How am I going to rein it back in? Or I can feel that I'm suddenly feeling totally strapped for time.
yeah,
Who am I going to invest in to help me buy back my time? The book I'm
yeah,
reading at the moment as well.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
is true. It's like doing the gut check
yeah.
on
I
like,
love it.
okay, this isn't working for me anymore, or like this is like I'm trying to do too much at once. Where can I get support? Or
Mhm.
actually, I can't do all of this stuff.
Yeah,
What has to give?
yeah,
Because even though I'm like a
yeah.
badass superwoman, I can't do everything. And I think that is a woman's
Yeah,
what's
that's just what
like,
we the check-in all the time, isn't it? If women could take anything away from this conversation that we've had, or your experiences, or your learnings, or your challenges that you've had in business, what would be the key takeaway thing that you'd want them to leave them with, really?
be more gutsy. Just be braver and just do the thing and be
100%.
unapologetic and
Yeah.
be different.
Yeah, yeah. And what does the Gutsy CEO, what does that look like for you? Obviously, it looks like you're inundated and going viral here. And I've got Power Play program, which is a co-creation program that you're doing with Jasmine, which is
Mhm.
brilliant. Again, that's all around that sharper messaging, brand visibility, tightening everything up. So you're doing that. But what is it? Just more of that this year?
Yeah, I think for me this year, because I've my business is fully established now, it's definitely about like making everything just run smoother and
Hmm.
building in like systems that fit with my life.
Yeah,
And when I talk, about the Stephen Bartlett post, that's essentially what I'm doing for
yeah,
myself is what I want to do for my clients too, which is actually build strategies that work and stuff that we haven't necessarily seen before. And this message, like keep hammering home this message. And I think being gutsy is about being brave in your message because, yeah, not everyone likes it. Not everyone likes what I said. Not
mhm,
everyone agrees. And I've had so many trolls. The most recent post I did. But I'm not going to delete that post because a few people don't like it. Actually, it's a message that needs to be shared. And I think that is what being gutsy is
yeah.
about.
I love it. Just one quick question. When you talk about small marginal gains, because have you always been known as the Gutsy CEO, or when you changed your handle, did you notice a change at that point?
Yeah, I am obsessed with talking about this actually.
Ah, I didn't.
I was just Amber J coaching up until I had my second baby. So last February, I was just Amber J coaching. I was doing well. Like I'd got fully booked with signing clients, but I really wanted to. I knew when I had my second baby, I wanted to scale into groups. I wanted a bigger impact. I wanted to get known for
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
So I just did a lot of brainstorming, a lot of inner work, and I found this word gutsy, and it just felt so like me. And I just like sat with it for a little while. I was like, oh my god, I'm gutsy. I'm the gutsy CEO. Nobody else is calling themselves a gutsy CEO. This
yeah,
is me. And when I changed my name, 100%, I felt like I suddenly everything came together. I had a brand that people recognized, people understood exactly what I was about just from my name. It's a bit like, you're the unfiltered female. I
yeah,
feel like I just get it. I
yeah,
get it immediately. And I
yeah.
think it's so
It's not.
incredibly
It's
powerful.
not performative. It's not telling people what they
Yeah.
want to hear. It's brutal truths, and it's
Mhm.
the human. Like they were all
Yeah.
in it together, and the gutsy CEO is just. Well, that's why I was like, I need her on this series because she's the gutsy CEO. She's bold. She's trying things. She's out there. She's doing things her way. That's why you're on here essentially. And then obviously, as you're saying, this alignment, you're now getting work and women coming to you because, they want to work with the gutsy CEO.
The power of a really amazing brand name.
Yes, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's true. I've hired people based off of a brand name. Like
It's
it's
powerful.
yeah.
Very, very powerful if done correctly. Very similar to when I spoke to Jasmine, one of my little features is little notes. It's tough out there. It can be lonely. We sometimes need reminding how well we are doing. So the lovely Jasmine is on holiday with her family, but she very much said, I want to do a note for Amber. Obviously, she is your partner in crime, your work bestie. You're doing power play with her. You're doing conferences all over the place. And I reached out to Jasmine and just said, if you could give me a few notes for Amber. I know that you did it for her. And she did it a zen within minutes. So I'm just going to play that for you now. I haven't listened to this. She only did it this morning, bless her. I only asked her last night and I was like, can you do just a little note? She's like, oh my God, yeah. She's by a kid's pool. Let's listen to it together.
Too many reasons why I absolutely love Gutsy CEO. Obviously, there's a time limit to this, so I can't reel them all off now, or we'd be here for weeks and weeks. But here's a few things that I just want to talk about. So the first thing is that I've observed how incredible Amber's brain is. I don't know if it's because if it's because of her teaching background or because of the ADHD. I don't know what it is, but the thing with Amber is that she has this incredible ability to like like really dive into things head first, like dive into all of the knowledge, to like do a deep dive into whatever it is. And then her brain will like analytically put things together to create things for her clients and for other people. And honestly, this is partly why she's been so incredibly successful in terms of things like trial reels and going viral and stuff like that, is that she really does her homework. Like she goes to town with learning, and then it's just like, I don't know, I want to say the matrix is probably the wrong analogy. It's just like some weird spider web of knowledge that she like accumulates in her brain and then puts out into the world and just like makes magic for like her and all of her clients. It's honestly the most incredible thing, and it's something that I can't do, and I'm completely blown away by what she can do with that. Another thing I really want to say about Amber, this is so crucial, is that she is probably the most empathic person that I've ever met, just as like as a friend, as a business partner, as somebody who I work closely with. She's so empathic, and it's really important to have that level of empathy, because you can be successful and you can be a business shark and you can get shit done, but you can also be empathic and know when people need support in terms of just like being a friend. And that's one thing that I really value, yeah, with Amber and our friendship. I would say another thing is she is bloody brilliant at just validating all of the crazy ideas that I come up with. And so as a team, we just work so well together, because she's so wonderful and empathic and like she's so creative, even though she doesn't feel like she is. And I'm honestly so blessed and honoured to have her in my life and have her as like literally a best friend and somebody that I work with. I think it's just so beautiful and I love her.
She's so great, isn't she? It's so true. And, echoing Jasmine, obviously she knows you much better than anybody else. But I just think, from outside viewer, just keep being you, Amber. You are inspiring so many women in business, working mothers in business. And yeah, we're just all celebrating you, your success and everything that you're doing. It's brilliant to watch.
Thank you so much. I'm so emotional now.
I know. Yeah. So thank you so, so much for all your time. So many, I'm presuming most of your clients are women, and just redefining really what business looks like for women and what success looks like for women. And yeah, just giving us the bump to go for it, I'd say. Because it's really not as scary when you get on the other side.
Just got to do it. Nothing's more scary than like being in a job that you hate.
The unfiltered female is the 5 to 9 with the dream and the vision to make it, and doing those small steps and having these wonderful conversations and seeing where it manifests and how it pivots and where it goes. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I love it so much, and like I'm obsessed with you.
Oh, thank you, Amber. I said to Jasmine, I'm coming to one of your next speakers because I've got these gold knee-high boots that I do business events in. I'll bring the gold knee-high boots. We can get the cocktails, and because I know you guys are down south, aren't you? So we'll make it happen. Thank you so much, Amber. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.